Hello once again and welcome to IPL Fantasy ChitChat, and today we are going to talk about match number 4 of the 2020 Indian Premier League. It'll be the first match for Rajasthan Royals in this tournament, but the second match for Chennai Super Kings, who beat Mumbai Indians by 5 wickets in their first opening encounter. So this match will be played in Sharjah, and let's see how the two teams will line up. First of all, we'll talk about Rajasthan Royals, and this is a team, if you can see the lineup, this is a team which has a lot of chopping and changing going about, because it is first of all a team that is dependent heavily on overseas players, but those overseas players are this time around not quite available just as yet. You have somebody like Ben Stokes, who has not yet arrived to the team and probably will not be available for the first half of the tournament. And then of course there's Josh Butler, who's arrived in the UAE with his family, so he'll have a few extra days of quarantine and he'll not be available for the first game. So a lot of chopping and changing. It'll bring about a lot of different permutations and combinations, with Robert Uthappa perhaps moving up the order to open the innings, Manan Vora coming in, and Andrew Tye getting a game which probably he wouldn't have expected to play from the very outset. So who will be the most impactful players for Rajasthan Royals? If we have to pick three names, Josh Butler, as and when he comes back, he's expected to come back from the second game, and then he'll slot straight into that opening pairing with Yashasvi Jaiswal. And last year he had such an impactful outing for the Rajasthan Royals, and I expect that to continue in the same vein. He didn't have a great time in the English summer, in the first half of the English summer. In the second half, he just picked up pace, and I expect in the batting-friendly conditions in UAE, his form to continue. Sanju Samson, of course, is a name that you have to pick. Sanju Samson has had an up and down time, in his cricket career. This is now the time to just get on a roll, get those runs in, make an impression, and after that, he would be able to perhaps come back in contention for the Indian team. So this is the season to watch out for before he is usurped by other contenders, other youngsters who are starting to come up. Remember, there is a battle for the wicket-keeper batsman slot that is going on between Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul. So Sanju Samson can just be the outsider in there. And of course, the third player, in fact, that I would like to name is Shreyas Gopal. He brings that spin element to Rajasthan Royals. Just the whole bowling attack pivots around him. The leg spinner, remember him for the hat-trick against Royal Challengers Bangalore. But in the lower order, he's also an effective batsman. So he brings that element to the Rajasthan Royals lower down the order. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of a bowling attack mix they take, especially because you never know what to expect from the Sharjah, because we've seen pitches in Dubai and Abu Dhabi support pacers in the initial 3 days. Now talking about Chennai Super Kings, who will be playing their second game of the tournament. Chennai Super Kings are really not in a habit of making too many changes to their side. And to be honest, because they've won, obviously, I do not expect many changes to their side. Like I mentioned, the pitches are still favoring the Pacers. There's some grass left on there. So I expect them to play the same team, barring any injury. What surprised in the first game was Murli Vijay opening the innings with Shane Watson, and not Faf du Plessis and Shane Watson, and then playing an extra Indian batsman low down the order. Perhaps they're waiting for Ruturaj to recover. He has recovered and he has started net practice again, so maybe he'll be back later in the week. But who made the most impression for Chennai Super Kings? It was the way they handled that middle order. Kedar Jadhav did not get into bat. Ravindra Jadeja and Sam Curran promoted above MS Dhoni. It brings about very different permutations and combinations for anybody who's picking a fantasy side, filled with those Chennai players. So let's talk about the fantasy 11 we can pick from this matchup. Again, it will be a very, very interesting mix because, of course, you don't have Josh Butler. So what are your options? You don't have Josh Butler, you don't have Ben Stokes. So those two are totally kept aside. A lot of chopping and changing possible. You can have Ambati Raidu. He's going to have a good run because Chennai depend on an Indian batsman to have good runs in the top order. You have Sanju Samson and Robin Athappa who can make an impact at the very top of the order. Then there is Steve Smith who will be captain. Again, one fantastic batsman, again in the top order. So, you have the Rajasthan Royals top order and you have the Chennai Super Kings top order. So you pick as many batsmen there as possible. But my interesting pick would be to give Sanju Samson the wicket-keeping gloves and not MS Dhoni, because we saw in the manner Dhoni played against Chennai, he batted really low, that he could not make much of an impact from a points position. So I would rather pick Riyan Parag or Yashasvi Jaiswal. Riyan Parag comes in low down the order again. He's a very attacking batsman. Yashasvi Jaiswal, another attacking batsman. He will be playing in the top order. So maybe take a bet, not pick MS Dhoni, make Sanju Samson your wicketkeeper, and then Yashasvi Jaiswal to open the innings. Apart from that, the rest almost pick themselves. Ravindra Jadeja, Sam Curran, your all-rounder options, Jofra Archer, Deepak Chahar, and the spin toss-up perhaps between Piyush Chawla and Shreyas Gopal, unless Imran Tahir makes a comeback to the Chennai side.